The Golden State Warriors did all they could over the offseason to keep the team in the running for the title, and a few weeks into their 2025-26 campaign, things have started well. However, Golden State has been hit with the injury bug just a week before the official start of the NBA season. After it was revealed that Moses Moody will be out for a few weeks, Jimmy Butler was the latest Warriors player to be announced as injured. Warriors hit with injury blow as season nears. According to NBA insider Anthony Slater, Butler suffered an ankle sprain and is set to miss Golden State's next preseason game against the Portland Trail Blazers. Jimmy Butler is out tomorrow night in Portland now, Slater wrote on X. He had an ankle sprain in practice on Friday. Steve Kerr said team thought it was minor, but it remains a little swollen. Hope is he returns for Friday's preseason finale. Butler played in the Warriors' first two preseason matchups against the Los Angeles Lakers and Trail Blazers. He now joins Moody and Draymond Green as notable players who will miss at least the team's next game. First full Jimmy Butler and Stephen Curry season. The recent injury to Butler isn't a great sign for Golden State, especially its timing, coming just before the NBA season tips off. However, if the ankle heals quickly, Butler will have an immediate impact in his first full year alongside Stephen Curry in the Bay Area. The Warriors finished 23-8 with Butler in the lineup to close out last season, and though they fell in the second round of the playoffs, the duo played at a top-tier level. Writing for ESPN, Zach Kram highlighted the Butler-Curry partnership in a recent article on Golden State's title hopes. In half a season with Butler, the Warriors were one of the best teams in the league, and they improved in the offseason. By that logic, they should be a contender again this season, Kram wrote. But from Butler's debut through the end of the regular season, it ranked first in defensive rating and third in net, at plus 9.2 per 100 possessions. The team's 23-8 record in that span, which extrapolates to 61 wins over a full season, wasn't a fluke. Golden State is predicted to win 56 games according to Kevin Pelton of ESPN and his projections, if everyone stays healthy, which so far hasn't been the case. While Al Horford has been a solid addition so far, and Jonathan Kuminga has been impactful in the preseason after signing an extension, it will come down to Curry and Butler, as well as Green, to decide the Warriors' fate. Kerr undecided on Warriors starters. If everyone is healthy, Golden State head coach Steve Kerr is likely to trot out Curry, Butler, Green, and Horford in the starting lineup. With one more spot to fill, Kerr has yet to make a decision. Golden State Warriors to rely on two a-holes to win title. Speaking after the game in his post-game press conference, the coach said he is still undecided about who will start at shooting guard for the Warriors this season. Brandon Podziemski and Buddy Hield will likely battle for that final spot, with Kuminga, a healthy Moody, Seth Curry, and Gary Payton potentially getting the job at multiple points throughout the season. I can say that yet, Kerr said when asked about who will round out the starting lineup. We've got to see where we are. Brandon's going to play a ton. He's a hugely important player for us. But the starting lineup, frankly, is a little tricky for us, given the pieces and AL's age. Golden State could be the oldest team in the NBA next season, depending on who gets signed to a full-time contract. They will face an uphill battle in the Western Conference, but when healthy, they have a strong chance to compete against teams like the Oklahoma City Thunder and Denver Nuggets. Perhaps the most notable addition of the Golden State Warriors' late off-season signings was Al Horford, arriving a year after winning a title with the Boston Celtics and set to enter his 19th season in the NBA. Though one of the oldest players in the league, Horford remains an impactful player on both sides of the ball and expects to start at center for head coach Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr gets brutally honest on Al Horford's fit with Warriors. However, while Horford's impact on the court with Stephen Curry, Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, Jonathan Kuminga, and others has yet to be seen, the big man recently dropped a big hint as to his retirement plans, just after arriving in Golden State. Speaking with Nick Friedel of The Athletic, Horford said he expects the Warriors to be the last stop on his NBA journey, barring any extraordinary circumstances. Yeah, I think so, Horford said when asked if he'll end his career in Golden State. I think at this point in my career, where I see everything, that is my expectation, just to be here. Horford, age 39, averaged 9 points, 6.2 rebounds, and 2.1 assists on 42.3% shooting for Boston last season. He signed a 2-year, $11.6 million deal to go to the Bay Area, but there is a real chance that after that contract ends, Horford could bow out of the league. Horford on leaving the Celtics. Horford's addition to Golden State was not only notable because he now joins at the tail end of the team's dynastic run, but because he left the Celtics just a year off a historic title run. However, in his profile with The Athletic, the center offered multiple reasons why it was time to leave the team he spent a collective 7 seasons with. Along with Jason Tatum tearing his Achilles in the playoffs, Boston's cap space was becoming a real issue. They won the title, but couldn't keep paying all their starters on new, more expensive deals. Along with the finances, Horford said he didn't think Boston had the same championship hopes as a few years ago. I think the financial part was a component, but more than that, it was the winning part of it, trying to contend for a championship, Horford said on his Boston departure. And I think there was a lot of things up in the air, and it just felt like they weren't in that same vision, obviously, because JT getting hurt, that takes a big toll. So I think at that point I really had to. Up until then I was staying in Boston the whole time. Horford joined Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis as noteworthy Celtics stars who left over the summer. The veteran center said after seeing the team's early offseason moves, he didn't think a return was right. I think once that offseason happened and it started to progress, it became clear to me the team had different priorities, Horford added. Obviously, getting rid of Drew Holiday, getting rid of Kristaps Porzingis. And I know it's all salary stuff, but it was like a domino effect, and it was tough for me. Why he chose the Warriors. While leaving Boston as a fan favorite, Horford now joins a Golden State team that hopes to win at least one more title to cap off a historic decade-plus dynasty. When asked about why he joined the Warriors, Horford said it was both the prospect of playing with future Hall of Famers, as well as their interest in playing with him. Yeah, I had communication with them, with Steph and Draymond, Horford said. And that was important. It happened very fast because it was at a point where they came to me and they're like, hey, we'd love to have you and all these things. And it was one of these things that, for me, looking at this fit and the potential, it just felt right. So, them reaching out to me was important. Before even playing in his first official regular season game with the team, with minimal preseason action under his belt, Horford has received praise from Curry, Kerr, and other members of the team. Golden State has yet to have a veteran center with both an outside shooting and rim-protecting presence over the past few years, so Horford will play a big part in the team's expected success. It's huge to have not only a Space 5, but it's not just any Space 5, it's Al Horford, Kerr said at a previous Golden State press conference. Rebounds, defends, smart, good passer. Just watching him today, you could see the fit, how smooth it is. After Horford's earlier comments on wanting the Warriors to be his last team, it is fair to say his current deal could likely be the last NBA contract he will sign. After an excused absence from the Golden State Warriors' preseason game against the Los Angeles Lakers that was for a positive reason, Jimmy Butler will now also miss the Warriors' next game at Portland against the Trail Blazers, per Steve Kerr. An ankle sprain that Butler suffered last Friday during practice, once thought to be minor, remains a little swollen. The hope is that Butler will return for the Warriors' last preseason game against the Los Angeles Clippers on Friday. However, it is also not out of the question that the Warriors will shelve Butler for the remainder of preseason to ensure that his ankle fully heals in time for the start of the regular season. At 36 years old, Butler isn't exactly a spring chicken. The Warriors will need him as healthy as possible for the regular season gauntlet, especially with a roster whose rotation mainstays have had lots of mileage in their proverbial basketball odometer.